we've covered prevention and monitoring. So let's look at the next session. We'll look at treating fly strike when it occurs. So treating fly strike is essential to protect the health and welfare of your flock, breaking the life cycle of flies and preventing economic losses. In this section, we will look at how to treat fly struck sheep as well as how to select suitable chemical treatments. We're also going to review how to kill maggots and remove the sources of protein to help break the life cycle of flies and prevent additional strikes. So you're out in paddock, you found a struck sheep, what do we do next? So the first step is to clean the strike area. This means the area of the strike wound and around the strike. Remove struck wool by clipping the wool on and around the affected area. Clip the wool close to the skin. Machine shearing with a handpiece is generally better than using manual hand shears. And we want to clip at least 5 centimeters or one blow with the handpiece of clean wool around the struck area to ensure all maggot trails have been exposed and create a buffer so the skin can dry out. So if you find those maggot trails, you've really got to just keep clipping and follow them out because we want to get all the infected wool out. Now, many maggots may escape treatment if care is not taken. Poor control of maggots can lead to further strike as well as resistant to treatment and prevention chemicals. So, therefore, it's so important to collect as many maggots as possible during the treatment and kill them. Remember, in my mind, I go, every maggot could be a female that's ready to lay another 300 eggs in a few weeks. So really, we're taking no prisoners on maggots. We want to make sure we get them all and kill them. But like, we really just don't want to kick the maggots and the wool clippings down the chute if you're in the shed. I know, it was super easy to do. So to dispose of maggots effectively, place all the clipped wool and maggots in the plastic bag that can be sealed. Leave this bag in the sun for several days to kill maggots. And going back to that resistance question is that I always think if we've got maggots now that are developing some strength against some of our chemicals, we definitely don't want to let them live and grow up and, go from 1 female to 300, in 3 weeks. So we want to make sure we really put in the effort and get those. So once we've cleaned the site and we've cleaned up the wool and the maggots, the next step is to dress the infected area. So dress the infected area using a suitable registered chemical to prevent the wound from being restruck while it's healing. So remember, I talked about there's a difference between the preventatives and the dressings in the chemicals, and it's really important to know the difference and read the label for that. After dressing the wound, you need to move the struck sheep to a hospital paddock if possible to reduce the risk of attracting more flies to the rest of the flock. Provide these treated sheep with fresh feed and water. Remember, this is a hospital. We've got to take care of our patients, give them shelter and contact with other sheep and monitor them regularly. For treating sheep with severe fly strike, it's best to consult your local vet as these sheep are at great risk of death. So if they're really sick, we really got to take care of those girls and give them medication if they need it. Make sure you follow all the steps described to effectively treat struck sheep, plus additional strike, and avoid development of resistance to chemicals. So we really got to, taking care of these maggots and those struck sheep is so important because that's how the snowball turns into the avalanche. So question is, well, what chemical treatments to use? Chemicals are registered to be used as either preventative, which we've heard about, or to treat struck sheep. Again, that's the dressing. Dressings can help kill existing maggots and prevent restrike while the wound dries out and heals, but may only provide protection for a relatively short period of time. So when you're considering a dressing, also look for the withholding periods and intervals for when you need to treat. Dressing should be used in combination with other measures and should be relied upon alone. So the active ingredients registered for dressing are ceromazine, spinosad, ivermectin, diazinon. Now, ceromazine and dicyclonol, remember, they're insect growth regulators, so they're the best weapon of choice for prevention, maybe not the best weapon of choice for dressings because they won't kill them fast enough. So spinosad, ivermectin, diazinon, they're your weapons of choice for treating the strike. And remember to keep accurate treatment records. So where's the go-to to find some information about what chemicals are there and when can I use them? The FlyBoss website. This is such a great tool for producers. Secondly, also remember that resistance of flies to chemicals is a growing concern as resistance reduces the effectiveness of treatments over time. That's why it's important to use chemicals properly for treatment as same as prevention. Be aware that some chemicals can be used as dressings, may not kill the maggots, and we've talked about that. And don't forget these two great fact sheets. I think they're really good reading, and it'll help frame up your mindset about, in relation to resistance to chemicals. Again, you can find these by searching resistant management strategies in the FlyBoss website. So what about how to treat the cause of additional strike? Now, remember, prevention is better than cure, and that's where we want to focus our energy. So to complete their life cycle, female adult flies must have access to feeds that are rich in protein. Preventing additional strike means we've got to break that blowfly life cycle by removing sources of protein, including carcasses, household waste, any fleece or waste animal material, dags, dirty wool, horn tips, tails. Killing maggots when you treat flystruck is also super important, as this obviously breaks the life cycle. Even maggots that have been treated with dressing should be killed, as these may hatch into flies that are resistant to chemical treatments. And remember, just because flies they don't travel far, you've got an opportunity to manage them at isolated sites, and at the property level, you can make a significant distance to the broader spread of flies. Guys, I take to the farm messages when it comes to treating fly-struck sheep. Make sure you use a combination of treatment activities and you never rely on one signal activity alone. Remember, this is a strategy and we use different tools. It's important to make sure that all fly-struck sheep are effectively treated. All maggots are killed. Remember, one maggot can turn into a female and lay another 300 eggs. And sources of protein are removed to aid the sheep's recovery and to prevent additional strikes. Treatment of fly strike should be considered as part of a larger fly strike management plan, which also incorporates prevention and monitoring activities, as we've heard about today.